Alright, so we've got a basic entry-level wood chop here. The key points with your wood chops obviously is not only holding your structure through your thoracic, but having nice straight arms at the same time. Remembering that we're pulling from our leg and our trunk and not our shoulders. So we're not muscling it so much through our thoracic, we're just creating a nice platform for the movement to be able to obviously do its thing. So, a basic wood chop, start across the body, go with my right leg, so my inside leg, turning, control the weight back in. Right, so you can see I'm opening up my hip with each chop that I do. Right, so nice and square, nice and still through your shoulders. Alright, so with your basic wood chop, it's pretty straightforward with the movement, but I wanted to touch on some key areas, and one in particular around your hips and also, of course, then your shoulders. So we've touched a little bit on your shoulders already in the ins and outs and talking about where that shoulder starts to lift. Now, I'll get into that in a second. But if we talk about your hips to start with, now you'll notice in a lot of wood chopping videos, I'm going to talk about making sure that the movement comes from the foot. So you're driving up off one leg and then coming through the hips and then follow through with the trunk. Now, I like to promote this to me because it's obviously aligned well to our primal movement patterns, how we actually move. You know, back in the day, if we were to throw a spear, we would have never stood there and just try and throw like so. We obviously turn side on, engage through that kinetic chain, and then obviously drive through the fascial lines to get the torque we want to follow through with the performance or the power. So in the everyday world, we work in a very similar vein. We still want to engage our larger muscles, being our legs, and then follow through with the upper body. So the long story short of this is make sure that when you are doing your chops, if I'm going to go left to right, my way, then of course I'm going to turn off my left foot. So my left foot is pivoting as I go through my hips and then I follow through with my trunk. That compared to keeping my legs and hips dead still, and then of course just going through the trunk, like so. Now, there's pros and cons to both, and obviously with the full body version that I try to promote with you guys, you're going to get a lot more kinesthetic awareness, coordination, your transfer of energy will be a lot better, and you'll create more energy, and force for that matter. With the static version, if you were to just move through the trunk, of course, your rotators will get one hell of a workout in relation to the obliques having to take all the load and create all the force. Right? The flip side or the downside of that is, of course, then you've got a pelvis that's staying still and a vertebrae that's rotating. So you've got a little more wear and tear on the vertebrae there as well to consider. So keep that in mind when making your choice of how to do your wood chops. And lastly, just talking about the shoulder, again, if I'm coming left to right, like the ins and outs, it's that left shoulder that's going to want to pop up. So make sure that our shoulders stay back and down the entire time, and not allow the upper traps to want to try and dominate and muscle the movement through the shoulders.